Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War II, World at War. This is episode number 88 of our long-running Let's Play series where we are playing as the Allies. It's a series that's had a lot of ups and downs, and I think a very unconventional outcome in this game. I think a lot of players who lose as the Allies see Germany do what it did, basically overrunning all of Europe, overrunning Russia, and becoming so strong that the Allies can't possibly counter it. But what they don't often see when they win, or even when they lose, is a invasion of Japan that occurs before the defeat of Germany. So like most of the time when people play this game and they win, they beat Germany first and then they go and deal with Japan. We've kind of done it the other way around. We've invaded Japan. We're at the doorsteps of Tokyo. We destroyed one of the units in the western portion of the city, but we didn't have enough movement points to move into the city to take Tokyo from the Japanese, or at least that portion of the city. And so we've seen a real slog up the Japanese islands in just the fact that our troops are actually better than the Japanese in this game, but we don't have the frontage to exploit our advantage in numbers on the island. And so it's been just this almost like World War I trench warfare type deal as we try and move up the island. Meanwhile, we've also landed in Korea to surround Seoul, which will be the fallback capital for Japan, their last capital once Tokyo falls. And then we've also invaded Norway, where, you know, as I mentioned, Germany's basically run roughshod all over the continent, but the one place we can really accomplish something is probably Norway, because there's no direct rail link to the rest of Germany, the rest of Europe. There's no rail line between Norway and Finland in this game, and that prevents operational movements that allow the AI to move their units really quickly. And so that is basically giving us an opportunity to strike back at the Germans, to weaken the Germans without needing to face up against their whole might. And so that's the situation right now as we are moving into, this turn we'll be moving into late November of 1946. The game runs till 1947, so there's only a handful of turns left. But we will see how things play out in this long-running series. Let me know your thoughts down below. I really want to hear what you guys think. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off. This was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel from a while back now. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys at the end. We can take one of the portions of Tokyo. One of our armies in Norway suffers some attrition. Actually, a couple of units apparently suffer attrition. Well, shit. Kristianstad should be working as a supply center here before long. Seven turns left for the Axis. All right, they're reinforcing Oslo. Their destroyers going up against our carrier there. Some of their destroyers going up against our subs. They didn't do anything, thankfully. We'll see if more surface vessels try and plunge into the North Sea. I think the Axis gets the last turn, Ivan. Apparently their carriers have good weather. Oh, shit. They moved. Yes! They moved an army into Tokyo, and they tried to counterattack, and they lost 30% of their casualties. They can't reinforce it. God, that worked out great. My armor should be able to overwhelm them next turn and finish them off. I'm hopeful. If the weather cooperates, certainly with our TAC air coming in on top of them. If the weather doesn't cooperate, it may be a little bit dicey, but we can probably swap one of those Marine units that's north of them out. It'll be a zone and control situation, but then I can pair drop the 101st into that portion of Tokyo. Now, we still have 2 hexes of Tokyo, so even if we take the first, there's a second one we still have to take. So, meanwhile, good weather for the Japanese Air Force and some of these hexes in Burma, so that's not great. Okay. Japanese Air Force in Japan had good weather this turn. Alright, so they're army moved north to attack there. We'll see if their armor can move east in Burma with any effectiveness. Not too worried about a garrison. Oh, fuck. They're still attacking. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. We're getting obliterated. How do they... I thought their supply was like 2 and 1. India's in trouble. I guess I can send some of the American troops on the way to Japan to India. We'll probably lose Karachi, but I don't think it's a national morale center. The AI sure seems to get perfect weather a lot of the time. It's kind of annoying. Also, apparently my armor north of Oslo is surrounded somehow. I mean, the best chance is that Japan surrenders, then allowing us to shift all these troops west to plug the gap. And then I don't think there's any way we can lose in India. But... Alright, we have 6 turns left. Nubavefes. Did we not get a national morale bonus for taking Vladivostok, even though it was a national morale center? I didn't see a little pop-up saying, like, national morale is hurt by the loss of Vladivostok. Does that not count as a national morale center for Japan? Because that would kind of suck. All right, let's take a look here. Definitely didn't go down. Great. Okay, so good weather in Japan again. So we're going to strat bomb Tokyo. Then we're going to tactical bomb it. And again. And again. We're not actually damaging it, but the national morale, their morale and their effectiveness is dropping. A very good attack there. And there. Nice. So, I can actually move my mechanized unit in here to take the city. And it will be fresh for more attacks if we want to do that. I'm going to hold off there because I'm going to see what I can accomplish by landing on the coast here. These guys have a level 6 entrenchment. Ooh, nice. My carriers actually damaged the garrison. Holy shit, that never happens. Let's try that again. Yes! More carriers. Do good things. Damn it. Come on. Nice. Only one more hit point left. Almost. Joe Spunk, thanks for the follow. Don Darkzoni, thank you for the follow. Good weather here. God damn it. I think that's everything. Meanwhile, we'll drop MacArthur into Korea. Alright, so the port is gone. I'm losing a lot of naval casualties here. Their supply is going to start dropping in Seoul, but probably not quite yet. What's our supply going to look like tomorrow with that new... Okay, so these guys will have pretty good supply tomorrow. Oh, shit. I don't want those troops engaging the Japanese up there. Damn it, I couldn't finish off that last section of Tokyo. Yeah, I do need to start sending troops to India, probably. Nice. Okay. Huzzah! Paratroopers! Tokyo is ours! The Battle of Tokyo is won! Now, there's still a lot of Japanese troops all over here. There certainly will be a counterattack, I expect. Any Brazilian garrisons I can send? Ah, yes, a deep-cut reference to my sacrifice of Brazilian troops in previous times. All right, let's send these transports here toward India. It's going to be a couple turns before they get there, but they're on their way. We may also need to send these amphibious troops to China, though, to try and take more national morale centers from the Japanese to force their surrender, like Shanghai or something like that. Supply situation next turn, 555. That's not bad. Ramgar, thanks for the bits. All right. These troops, meanwhile, are going to head toward India. I don't have anyone, like, immediately at India. It's going to take probably 3 or 4 turns to get anyone there. What's their supply? Their supply is 3. So Karachi is definitely going to fall. Apparently I did a little bit of damage to that armored unit, though. Do we have any new units building for India? No. So the British can send troops via transport. One thing I could do, let's throw the 11th Army on transports. Send them through the Suez Canal and toward India. So the U.S. 11th Army is on the way. We'll also send this artillery piece. I guess we'll just evacuate Sicily. We'll leave that 1 army unit there guarding it. But these guys will get there in the next turn. Shanghai is their capital? P. Warner, is Shanghai an alternate capital? I thought that was Seoul. It's not. Seoul will become their next capital, which we already have surrounded. And are already pounding from the air. So if we can take Seoul, that'll be another hit to their morale. But like Tsingtao, Shanghai, those are national morale centers that'll make them more likely to surrender. Quite a bit's left of the Kriegsmarine, Neuhauser. We'll take a look at Europe in a sec. So these Japanese troops in northern China actually have a good supply from their headquarters unit here. I'm hoping that we can destroy the Homa headquarters. That also will deal morale losses to the Japanese if they lose it. I don't think we're going to see the national morale hit for Tokyo quite yet, although it did drop by 1% for the losses they suffered. So if I leave Delhi open, I think partisans will rise up there. Calcutta they won't, so I'm going to operate this garrison unit west. I mean, they'll die, but they'll eat an attack. All right. Okay. How does this work? Can they no, they can't operate into India. There's no direct rail line. Okay. So let's send this battleship north. No invasion force in the channel, so that's good news. That's what our motor torpedo boats are for. Bad weather is not going to hinder our ability to hit them if they're north of Trondheim where they were before. Although my recon is gone there. Okay, first let's, I guess, deal with the... Well, if they're up there, I want to hit them with a battleship, but I don't know if they're up there. Alright, well I found them. They're under cover of weather. But I can bring the Texas to bear. And the Duke of York. So the Deutschland aircraft carrier is no more. We sank it. Bully for us. This German destroyer... Can't hit it with air, unfortunately, unless we can compel it to retreat. Well, we compelled it to retreat in a place that doesn't actually help us. So that's great. Guess I'll try and finish it off with this heavy cruiser. Got it. So we sank an enemy carrier and an enemy destroyer. German fleet is slowly being weakened. Does that hurt their national morale at all? A slight amount, I guess. Meanwhile, I can't use my carriers here. So I guess we'll pull them back to port. Because the weather's bad. Goodbye, Oslo. Hello, heavy tanks. That should hurt the German morale a little bit. Oslo has been liberated. Advance north toward Lillehammer. Take Lillehammer. Looks like they've moved some Romanian fighters into Norway, because that's the one thing they can operate into the theater. I'm not sure if you can expand the game past... I don't know. My understanding was you can't. The official end of... I mean, maybe there's an option to keep playing. But the official end of the game, anyway. I mean, I don't think there's a scenario where we're beating Germany, to be honest, guys. They're just too strong at this point. A Wild Star, thank you very much for the follow. Let's reinforce this ship. And Paradise Warfare, thank you very much for the follow. Can we reinforce this fighter? We can. All right, so the German Air Force has taken a beating. The German economy is still so strong, though. So if we look at this, like, they're losing 600 MPPs worth of units in the last several turns, but their income's over 2,000. Like, it's just... We're destroying their units quicker than they can build them, but we're not. But they can afford to replace more than they're losing. All right, let's pull these guys back. Put this sub over here. We could try and go for Copenhagen. We can go like with these little narrow fronts where they can't easily bring their stuff to bear against us. So their air force would probably obliterate us if we took Copenhagen. Well, Germany can only build so many ships. That's the one thing that helps us is each country has a stack of like the maximum amount of units that they're allowed to build of a certain type. So even though their income is sort of massive, I don't think I have to worry about them having a huge number of carriers coming online. We could try a cross-channel invasion. Just don't think it would be terribly useful. These torpedo boats have real crappy range. All right, another enemy sub. Got it. And we found another enemy sub. Wow. That was an effective attack. Is it in the range by any chance of the guys out of Reykjavik? No. Okay, so they're almost dead. Meanwhile, let's bring this U.S. Corps into Great Britain. Put it ashore. I probably need more headquarters for the U.S. That's going to be an issue. We don't have sufficient headquarters to support this massive swarm of troops that are arriving. But an invasion of England is pretty much out of the question now. If it was ever even feasible. Just look at all the troops we have here. Probably, actually, should be sending these guys to India, although I'm not sure they'd get there in time to matter. Okay. I'm not sure if the USSR would return to the game or not if we retook Moscow. I'm not sure how the game rules work on that. With that being said, guys, that's going to almost do it. We're going to have to go ahead and purchase our stuff, which at this point mostly doesn't matter. Apparently, headquarters only take 3 months, which I didn't realize. All right, and that's going to do it for yet another episode of Strategic Command World War II, World at War. We are coming in on the close of the war, but some great news for us this turn. We took Tokyo. We haven't seen the political impacts of the game yet, of the fall of Tokyo. That won't sort of manifest itself until our next turn. So stay tuned next time to see what the fall of Tokyo does to the Japanese, if anything. The Japanese capital will almost certainly withdraw to Seoul, but we have Seoul surrounded, and we're already weakening that point for the Japanese as well. So I'm pretty optimistic that we've got at least a chance to reduce the Japanese morale to the point where once we take Seoul, now that we've taken Tokyo, assuming we can hold it, that we have a chance of knocking the Japanese out of the war. But we'll see next time if that's a good assessment or not. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.